Hello everyone, this is Nithin. Today I am designing a 23 story tall building, and in the problem statement it is already given the lateral sections of different stories and the live loads and dead loads of them as well. It is also given the data of columns and beams and their dimensions as well, also about the cladding loads and wind loads as well in the question. Now let's get directed to ETAP software and design this 23-story building. Go to file menu and go to new model. Then our new model will be displayed where we will be designing the 23-story tall building, and select the units as metric and the code as Indian standard code, and click on OK to exit. And now we need, as it is a 6 meter spacing, so we will be spacing selecting the space as 6 and grid lines as 4 and number of stories to 23 and height as 3 meters. Now go to custom story data and modify story data, and now select one story among 1 to 8 and master that story, and we will be assigning the same story data to remaining all the stories according to the question. And similarly we need to repeat this same procedure for the stories of 9 to 14. We will be mastering one story from 9 to 14, and we will be assigning the same properties of that story to remaining all stories from 9 to 14. We can select any story from 9 to 14. I have selected story 14 here, but it can be done by selecting any other story. We need to repeat this process for the remaining stories up to story 23, and as shown on the screen. Now it's done, and now I will be mastering story 16, story 19, sorry, and I will be giving assigning remaining stories properties to it. Yeah, now the work is done, and click on OK. Now I have selected the grid view, and the plan view of the grid will be displayed here of the building. And after that, the thing that we need to do now is to define the materials what we will be using. So go to define, go to material properties, add new properties, and select the region as India, and select the concrete, and according to question we need to use M40, and define M40. Now we need to define our rebar material as well, and HYSD 415, and similarly we need to define mild grade 200, 250 as well. So we have defined that, and now click on OK to exit the dialog box. As we have done with that, now we need to define elements, and we will be defining our columns firstly. While defining the columns, firstly we will be defining each columns, as there are three types of columns. So firstly I am defining my first column here as shown on the screen, of M40 grade cement, and I'm giving the depth and width according to the question. And go to modify or show property, and there I will be changing my material, rebar material, and keep the rest the same as shown on the screen, and click on OK to exit the dialog box. Again, I'm not defining any other materials. I'm copying the same material data to the other materials. So add copy material, and I will be changing the name of it, and the rest of the data will be same, and need to change the depth and width, and click on OK. And again one more column, again the name need to be modified, and the depth and width as well, and I'm doing that. And now it's done, click on OK. So now I am defining one more property. Yeah, I'm defining one more property where we will be auto selecting it. So I will be adding all these columns to it, and our software will select automatically the best column suited at that situation. So we have done with this. Now our next task is to go with the beams. So now we need to do the same property for each beam, um, and the dimensions also need to be given as per the question. Now everything is defined. Click on OK and click on OK to exit the dialog box. And now we will be copying the same property as we have done with columns, um, and we will be repeating the same as shown on the screen. One more to go with, and then we will be defining auto select, and we will be adding these three beams to that, and then the system automatically selects the best beam suitable at that situation, and then we will be just left over with the drawing frames. And select the three beams and add to it. Now click on OK to exit the dialog box. Again click on OK. Yes, now our materials are defined and our properties are defined. Now the thing that we need to give is slab properties. So I am giving the slab properties now. Now slab properties are defined, and click on OK. Click on OK to exit slab properties dialog box. Now we need to draw the columns and beams, and for that go select similar stories on bottom right corner. Now by using either arrows or that icon, we need to select one of the story. As the similar story is selected here, now we just will be drawing the columns. And for drawing the columns, go to draw menu and uh, draw beams or columns. And now we will be drawing the columns, and as similar story is selected, uh, just we will be selecting all the columns, and that will be uh, assigned to all the 9 stories. We'll be drawing the beams to it as well. So now our task is to draw beams, and we will be selecting all of them, and the beams were drawn now. And now our next task is to draw the slabs. So now I will be drawing the slabs as shown on the screen. Now I am drawing the slabs. I am selecting all the slabs as shown on the screen, and in that way for the first 8 stories this process will be done. And now I need to repeat for the rest of the stories which are of same property, that is from story 9 to 14. Again I need to design draw the columns, beams and slabs in the similar way that I have drawn for the first 8 stories, and it is being done as shown on the screen. Now it's time to draw beams. Done with drawing beams. Now our next task is to draw the slabs. Selecting slabs and done with the drawing slabs as well. Now by using the arrow marks or select story directly by clicking the above icon, and I will be drawing the columns and beams and slabs for the above stories as well in the similar manner. Yeah, the columns were selected and I will be drawing the columns now. Done with beams, done with slabs as well as shown on the screen. Repeat the same procedure for the above stories as well. Done with beams. Now it's time for slabs. Yeah. Now we have drawn everything what actually we want. Now our next task for this is to assign loads. Now select story 1 and on bottom right corner select all stories, and I'm selecting all the slabs, and now I will be assigning the dead load to it, as the dead load is same to all. I have selected all stories. Click on apply and OK. Click on OK again to exit the dialog box. Now we have done with applying the dead loads. Then our next task is to apply live loads. But when we are applying live loads, the live loads are same for some set of stories and were different for the rest other stories. So select a story 1 and some stories and select all the slabs and assign the live loads as shown on the screen, and need to repeat the same procedure for assigning the live loads for the rest of other set of stories. Okay, click again OK. Some more stories to go with, and need to opt the same procedure for them as well. Click on apply and click on OK. Now we are done with live loads, and now our next task is to give the cladding loads. So now I will be giving the cladding loads, and follow the procedure as shown on the screen and give the cladding loads. I have deleted them because for the top story there won't be any cladding loads. Click on OK. Apply and click on OK. Now we are done with the claddings as well. Now the other possibility of loads is wind loads, and I am supposing the wind loads are from the A side, that is from the left side. So some of these A sections and B sections will be suspected to those wind loads, and now we need to define wind loads as how we define dead and live loads, and follow the procedure as shown on the screen, and apply wind loads. Indian Standard Code. Click on OK. The data that I am giving here is some standard data which we can grab from internet and from manuals as well. Follow the same procedure as is displayed on the screen. Click on OK. Click on OK to exit the dialog box. This is the front view of it, and we need to select the stories and follow the similar procedure. Yeah, now we have done with that. Now, as some parts of B were also suspected to wind loads, select them as well and follow the procedure as shown on the screen. 4.25 and click on OK. Now C section, click on OK, and now the stories that are suspected to the wind load are illustrated here. And follow this simple procedure for that stories as well. For rest of the stories as well as shown on the screen. Okay. Click on OK again to exit the dialog box. Now the run analysis is the part what we need to do, and it is being done. We are almost done with run analysis. Yes, now it's done. And as the run analysis is done, we can know all the properties and the different variations that are being done, the deflections, the shear force, the bending moment, the axial force, everything of our building. And it's just go to display option as show as it is on the top, and we can select our required option and that will be displayed on the screen. It is as simple as that, and I will be showing some of them here, but we can check for all of them. This shows our perfection of our structure. It's done now. Click on yes. Wait for a while, it's in the process. Yeah. Now we can know all the design data from that as well, and we can get the clear view of our tall building now. Yeah, now some more time. Yeah, now we have got all the data regarding it, and finally our tall building is designed. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity. This is my final project of Skyfi Labs. Thank you for watching the video.